Today, today we will just start our session with a short prayer. I will recite the prayer and you will just repeat after me. One of you can unmute and repeat after me. It's a short prayer. It's a prayer to the spiritual teacher to please open our eyes from ignorance to knowledge. Repeat after me. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya
Om Ajnanatimirandhasya
Jnananjanashalakaya
Jnananjana Shalakaya
Chakshurunmilitam yena
Chakshuranmilitam Yena
Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha.
Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha.
Thank you. Thank you, Nafisa. Thank you, Kavya. Thank you so much. So this is a short prayer to the Guru, the teacher, to open our eyes to receive the knowledge. So whenever we are trying to understand a spiritual subject matter, we do so by initially reciting a prayer, because this prayer opens up our heart. Without our heart being open, we cannot receive the spiritual truths, because our wall becomes just like a wall. How much ever you pierce the arrows of truth, they don't just penetrate. So prayer makes the heart fertile to receive the seeds of spiritual knowledge. Okay, so with that we will begin our session today. Mana topic entama ivala? What is the title of today's topic? What is the title of today's session?
Search for happiness.
Search for happiness. Yes. So this will be the session 3. The session 3. First session parenti. What is the first session? What is the title of the first session?
Mastermind behind the mysterious universe.
Mastermind behind the mysterious universe. Second session last week.
Access the truth beyond 4 defects.
Excellent. Yes, that was the second session. So my last session lo, what did we learn? What were the 4 defects? Okay, before that, what are the 3 ways of gaining knowledge?
Pratyaksha Praman, Anuman Praman, Shabda Praman.
Excellent. Yes. So these are the 3 means of gaining knowledge. So to gain knowledge through direct perception, every human being has 4 defects. What are the 4 defects? Last week మనం discuss చేసాం. We have 4 defects. Does anybody remember what are the 4 defects? Number 1.
Imperfect senses.
Exactly.
Perfect senses.
Yeah.
Imperfect senses.
Second one.
To be illusion.
Tendency to be illusion. Yes. Third.
Tendency to commit mistakes.
Come out
Excellent.
mistake.
Fourth.
Cheating propensity.
Exactly. So because we are having these 4 defects, to access true knowledge is not possible. So in this three, Pratyaksha, Anumana, and Shabda, which is the source of perfect knowledge?
Shabda Pram.
Shabda Praman. Yes. So Shabda Praman means, what is Shabda Praman? What is Shabda Praman? చెప్పమ్మా ఎవరు
తెలియని
చెప్తున్నారు?
వాటిని ఎవరైనా మనకు తెలియని వాటిని ఎవరికైనా తెలిసిన వాళ్ళని అడిగి తెలుసుకొని దాన్ని చేయడం.
ఓకే. కానీ శబ్ద ప్రమాణం అంటే ఆ ప్రమాణం ఏంటి? ఇప్పుడు తెలిసిన వారు అంటే ఎవరు నిజంగా తెలిసిన వారు ఎవరు? హూ ఆర్ ద నోవర్స్ ఆఫ్ ట్రూత్? వాట్ ఈస్ ద సోర్స్ ఆఫ్ దట్ నాలెడ్జ్?
Parampara.
Parampara? Vedas, exactly.
Vedas.
Yes, the Vedic knowledge is a perfect source of knowledge. Last week, we also saw the classification. If you remember, the Vedas are divided into Shruti, Smriti. Shrutilo, Rig, Sama, Yajur, Atharva, Veda అని చూసాము. తర్వాత Vedangas చూసాము. Upanishads, Puranas, Itihasas, ఇవన్నీ, like we saw the entire classification of the Vedas last week. Okay, so with that, we will begin our session today. Today's session is Search for Happiness. So a search which I think everybody is familiar with, right? మన లైఫ్లో ఏం చేద్దామన్నా దాని మూల కారణం, if you go to the root of it, why? Like for example, మీరందరూ ఇప్పుడు in your first year MBBS, so you want to become a doctor. Why? Ultimately, yeah, because you want to get into a good position. Why? You want to be in a good family. Why? You want to watch a nice movie. Why? Yes, or you want to spend time with a nice friend. Why? You want to chat with a dear friend of yours. Why? So the reason why we always do something, the root cause is because we are all seeking this one thing in our life, that is happiness. So today we will try to look at this concept of happiness from a scientific viewpoint. Okay, so we will start the session with due gratitude to Radhesham Das ji, who has given us this course and who desired that all these young students understand this, the essence of Bhagavad Gita through this course. So I have given the introduction last time itself, and yes, so this is the concept of today. So as I said, Vedas have the answer to every question. So this one thing that we are all searching for, that happiness, so the solution to that also, do Vedas provide? Before we get into the solution, let us first dissect and see what actually is the problem. Problem ento first you see, then we will get into solution. Okay, this is the science of happiness. Okay, today in this session, we will study about the following. So animals versus humans. What is the difference between humans and animals?
Humans have higher intelligence, ma'am.
Evaramma? Madhushrina? Right.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, Manamu, we will get into the details. Today, I'm just showing the headlines of today. Okay. Yes, what you said is right. So animals and versus human, what is the difference? Then what is the temporary solution? And what is the permanent solution? Okay. So we will also get into some historical concepts, and we will also try to take a look into where do we get authorized Vedic knowledge. This is also very important. Sorry. So these are the 5 subtopics of today. So we will start with the first one, animals versus human beings. Okay, now as Madhushree has spoken about, first we will discuss about what are the common things. Yeah, what are the commonalities? Similarities enti, differences enti. Human beings ki, animals ki similarities enti in terms of their activities. Yes. Similarities.
Every organism will eat and
Yes.
sleep.
Excellent. Eating, sleeping. We got the point. Who said that?
Nafisa.
Nafisa. Very good. Yes. Eating and sleeping is two activities that are common to human beings and animals. 2 more. Okay, I don't know if you will be able to guess that. Nee cheptan. Mating and defending. Yeah, mating, that means coming together and producing children, common to human beings and animals. Defending. Defending means when you try to attack, they try to defend. That is one more common thing that is common between animals and human beings. Yeah, ahara, nidra, bhaya, maithunam cha. Ahara means eating, sleeping, mating, and defending. So, yeah, this is search for happiness. So before we get into the similarity and differences, we will see how we are all searching for happiness in different things. Like, for example, tell me some activities that give you happiness. What makes you happy? Me, ideal, what is the one thing which gives you happiness?
Satisfaction.
Satisfaction? I'm talking about some activity. What makes you happy?
Good marks.
Good marks. Okay. Very nice. Inka?
Family time.
Spending time with family. Okay. That's happiness. Inka? What else?
Getting expected things in our life.
When whatever we expect actually happens, that makes us happy. Okay. Anything else? Very deep answers, huh? Inka?
Eating favorite food.
Yes, eating our favorite food. What is your favorite food?
Dal, pickle.
Okay, dal pickle. Bah, there is nothing like it. Hot rice with dal and avakai. Nothing compares to it. Nice. Inka? One last answer.
Playing.
Playing. Some people like sports. Okay. So different people, try to find happiness in different activities. Yeah, some people, especially in the little uptown, they find happiness in much more gross things like drugs, or in bad ways, or in music and discos and parties and whatnot, adventure sports. Okay, these are all thrills. Some people like fashion. Yeah. So basically, they feel the definition of happiness, in fact, fits into improved facilities for either eating, sleeping, mating, or defending. Yeah. That means it all comes to this. Yeah. So, as we said, we just spoke about the commonalities. So these are the common things between human beings and animals. Yeah. So animals also have the same thing. They have friends, They have fun. Yeah, in fact, they have, this is a nice family picture. And, so these are the 4 things that are common between animals and human beings. So that's how now we have seen the commonalities. Now tell me, what are the differences? What is the difference? One difference I'm looking for. What makes human beings different from animals?
Humans are self-conscious, ma'am.
Self-conscious in the sense they're aware about themselves. Even
Yes.
animals are self-conscious. They know what's happening to them, right? For example, if you touch a dog or something, it's aware of what's happening on its body, right? And it responds. If you show affection to a dog, in fact, a dog identifies it much better than humans. I tell you, if any of you have dogs as pets, actually in the house, if the inmates are fighting, the dog gets to know, it senses. I mean, even if it's a non-verbal fight, the dog senses it. So in that way, their receptors are much sharper in some senses. For example, the dogs, if there is anything unhappy, an unhappy event is going to happen in the house. Some actually dogs perceive it much earlier. They have some special sensors, etc., etc. Okay, so the self-conscious is common. Again, it's not a differentiating factor. Is there anything else?
They have greater intelligence, ma'am.
Humans have greater intelligence. Yeah, that is a good answer. So what is that greater intelligence that human beings have? That's a very good answer, actually.
Knowing about themselves.
Ah, very good. To know about oneself, the knowledge, excellent. That intelligence is called higher intelligence. Basically, it is an inquiry into the higher truths of life. This is the first Vedic aphorism. Athato Brahma Jignasa. Yeah, what is this Brahma Jignasa? Brahma Jignasa ante the ability it is jignasa means it's a Telugu word also, right? Jignasa means it's an inquiry or it's a desire to know things. It's called jignasa. Brahma jignasa means to desire to know about higher truths of life. So that is the special capacity of only a human being. Like for example, have you ever seen few dogs or monkeys coming together and discussing about, you see, what is the ultimate goal of life? No, they cannot inquire that way. Every day their inquiry is about where to find food, yeah, where to sleep, where to make nest or sleep, where to find a partner for mating, and if anybody attacks, how to defend oneself. These are the only 4 things they can inquire about and act upon. But human beings have the special faculty of intelligence by which they can inquire about the higher truths of life. In fact, that is the very reason all of you have assembled today on a Sunday. Yeah, Sunday means everybody wants to do many other fun activities or a lot of time waste activities. But all of you have taken that time out to really understand these higher truths. This is the speciality of human life. And this is the real utilization of human intelligence. So this is not what I am saying. This is what Mahabharata is telling in a beautiful verse. Yeah. So eating, as I said, it's sleeping, eating, sleeping, mating, and defending. In fact, animals can do much better than human beings. So when eating, sleeping, mating, and defending, we see that it is common in human beings and animals. And yeah, I'm just showing you some animals. Okay. Tell me, what is eagle famous for?
Catching its prey.
Okay. Or we can also say its vision, right? How is it able to catch its prey even from such great height? Eyesight. Very sharp eyesight it has.
Speed.
Speed. It can run. In fact, it runs much, much faster than a human being. Dog speciality, auntie?
It smells, ma'am.
Exactly. It smells. It can smell things. Sniff. The dog can sniff. That's why policemen take dog along with them, right? So that it sniffs. Elephant, dance speciality. What is the speciality of an elephant?
Memory.
Memory. Yeah. We say elephant memory, but means it's only the size you're comparing, but it's not that.
Strength, ma'am.
Strength.
Strength.
Inca, from where is getting that strength?
It's trunk, ma'am.
అంత strength elephant కి ఎలా వస్తుంది?
The bigger size.
It's a bigger size and its capacity to eat. An elephant can eat so many tons of food every day. In fact, elephant can dies when all its teeth fall off and it's no longer able to eat. Unless the elephant loses its teeth, it does not die. So that's its capacity of an elephant's eating. Yeah. What is this? This is a polar bear. What is the speciality of polar bear?
It can live in extreme cold condition. Sleep, hibernating.
Ever చెప్పారు hibernating?
Madhushri, ma'am.
Madhushri, yes, that is a speciality of the polar bear. Hibernating, that is, it can sleep for days on end, months on end, the whole winter. That's called hibernation, right? So polar bear speciality is it can sleep for months. So yeah, nightingale speciality is it has its sweet voice, right? So in many of these faculties, just a second, I'll just turn off the alarm and come back.
I complained to what?
Yeah, sorry. So here we are seeing the animals in fact are much superior to humans in certain sense perceptions, in the way their senses are functioning, or in the way their capacity to eat or sleep or even mate for that matter. A pigeon can mate several times in a day. Yeah, tens of times. We cannot compare it with the human capacity. Yeah. So in eating, sleeping, mating, and defending, we have seen in comparison how certain animals are far superior to human beings. So as I said, the speed. So what does that make a human being different and special in comparison to an animal? Yeah. So in that way, if we see our material advancement, is it meant for only increasing the facilities for these four? That means to eat, see, the animal is eating on the ground, let's say, or it catches the prey and eats in a very barbarian way. But human beings, they eat on a plate with nice forks and spoons, or with a very well dressed way. Animals can sleep anywhere on the trees or on the ground, but human beings, they make very wonderful arrangements of Dunlop bed and all that to sleep. Yeah. And animals mate in a little crude way outside, and human beings try to do that in a very good setup. Yeah. And defending the animals defend with sharp talons or nails or the teeth. And human beings defend with uh, guns. So is it that man is no better than a sophisticated, well-dressed, two-legged animal? Or does he have anything superior to that? Yeah. So all the inventions of human, we just look back and see, look at all the discoveries and inventions of the human beings. What are all the inventions and discoveries of human beings so far? What are they? What are these inventions or discoveries directed towards? What is the purpose? Is it simply to facilitate these four: better eating, better sleeping, better mating, better defending, better lifestyle, which we call it? Is
For
it
comfortability.
for comfort? Yeah, for increasing the comfort. Is it the only purpose of life to increase our material comforts?
No, ma'am.
Yeah, yeah. So is it that the human being is just a, only a two-legged, sophisticated deluxe edition of animals, or is he any superior to animals? Is there anything that makes a human being superior to animals? So that is what we are trying to see. So because
Thinking.
as yeah, so as we said, all these things are simply making, I mean, the modern advancements especially is mostly directed towards increasing the comforts, as one of you said. But are these comforts making the human being more happy? No. If you all think that, people who are living in AC rooms and, in the high skyscraper buildings are the happiest, but let me tell you, they are the people who pay the maximum visit to the psychiatrist and the psychologist. In fact, they have weekly or a weekly twice. Please mute yourself. Yeah. A weekly.
ఇప్పుడేం క్లాస్ ఈరోజు సండే ట్యూషన్ క్లాస్ అవునవును అమ్మేసాలే
I request you all to please mute yourself.
ఇస్తానుండు ప్రూవ్ చేయ క్లాస్ నడుస్తా
Varshita.
జాయిన్ అవ్వాలంతే
Can anybody please tell Varshita to please mute herself?
ఎపిసోడ్ ఉంది ప్లీజ్ చాలా క్లాస్ ఉంది కష్టపడి డౌన్లోడ్ చేసాను నేను కష్టపడి డౌన్లోడ్ చేసా ప్లీజ్ ఎప్పుడు నేను నడుచుకోవాలా
Can somebody please tell
ఇస్తా
Kavya?
ఫోన్లో అయినా మెసేజ్ పెట్టలేదు
Yes, ma'am. Message her. She's not replying.
లాగిన్ అవ్వాలి
Who is it? It's Varshita only, right?
Yashvita.
Yashvita.
Yes, ma'am.
Can somebody call Yashvita and tell her, please?
Okay, ma'am. I will do it.
Yeah. Okay. So I also request everybody present to please mute yourself because it's a lot of disturbance. Yeah. So as I said, in spite of all the advancement, and the modern humans are more depressed. If you see in the Western countries, I will tell you one statistics, mind-blowing statistics. 70% of marriages break within 3 years of marriage. This is the reality of marriage system in the US. 70%, 70% of marriages break within 3 years of getting married. So, this is what is the divorce rate in US, and we all know what divorce comes with, how much of depression, anxiety, etc., etc. Yeah. So as I said, this is the result of most of the advancement that modern human beings has made in technology. If you see with the increasing number of gadgets, people have so many Facebook friends or Twitter or this or TikTok videos, so many things, so much of presence in the social media that they're hardly present with the people around them. You know, everybody's living in a virtual world and with virtual friends. How many Facebook friends do I have? How many Twitter friends do I have? This is the calculations of the number of friends. But when you're really in need, which of these friends will actually come to help? So, you know, because of this shallowness in relationships, that is further driving a person into depression. So that is just a small example of how modern technological advancement is only increasing dissatisfaction and depression, and especially in the modern human beings. So again, the same question: what makes a human being superior to animal? As I said, Mahabharata has a very beautiful verse regarding this, which speaks about the similarities and differences. Manam, whatever we discussed. Yeah, it's a very nice verse. Ahara nidra bhayamaithunam cha samanyametat pashubhi narana dharmo hi tesham adhiko vishesho dharmena hina pashubhi samanaha. That is, ahara, eating, nidra, sleeping, bhaya, that is fear, or it actually is defending, and maithunam cha. Maithunam means sex life. So eating, sleeping, mating, and defending. Yeah, these are all samanyametad pashubhir naranam. It's a similarity between pashu and nara. That means human beings and animals. Yeah, dharmo hi tesham adhiko vishesho dharmena hi pashubhi samanaha. So the uh, speciality of human beings is they can inquire about their dharma. Dharma means the higher truths of life. And without such dharma, if without knowing that purpose of human life, pashubi samanaha, that human being is equal to an animal. So if a human being is not utilizing one's intelligence to make higher inquiries, then such a human being is equal to a pashu, and he is called a dvipada pashu. That means an animal with two legs. I am not telling this, the Vedic truths are telling this. So as human beings, we can call ourselves human beings the day we actually begin our inquiry about these higher truths of life. That is, who am I? Who's the person behind this universe? Where did this world come from? Why am I part of this? What is the purpose of my life? What is the purpose of this creation? What is the purpose of this existence? When we start inquiring about these higher truths with the God-given knowledge, that is when our human life has actually begun. That is why the first Vedic aphorism is athato brahma jignasa. Athato means therefore. Did you ever see any textbook or any lesson starting with the word therefore? Therefore and రాసామంటే దాని ముందు ఇంకోటి ఏదో ఉన్నట్టు, రైట్? దాని ముందు you stated something, therefore అనేది conclusion, right? But the Vedanta Sutra starts with athato, therefore you do Brahmajna. Why is it said therefore? Why does it begin with therefore? You are a human being, therefore inquire about the higher truths. Athato Brahma Jignasa. So when this Brahma Jignasa begins in each of our hearts, that is when our human life has actually awakened. That is, we are really utilizing our intelligence for the right purpose. Yeah, this is a translation. Yeah, human beings are considered superior enduku when they inquire about God, perform the dharma of obeying his laws by loving and serving him. Otherwise, dharmena hina pashubi samanaha. There is no difference between animals and human beings if they're not inquiring and trying to obey the laws of God. Okay, so this is basically the difference. Animals always inquire about these four things, and human being can inquire about what is life, what is death, and actually what happens after death. Yeah, these are some very interesting topics, right? And this will be the next session. We all have heard about after death experiences, near death experiences, reincarnations, past life memories. Are all these really existing, or are they just stories and movies? This will be a very interesting study which we'll do in our next session. Okay. So as I said, human beings have a higher intelligence. Why? To find out the cause of sufferings. Yeah. To inquire about the purpose of life and to harmonize our life with God and nature. This is the purpose of that intelligence, higher intelligence. And how to attain eternal happiness. This is a topic today, right? We're all searching for happiness in different activities that we are doing. Like each of you, one of you said, I like sports, or I like to eat a nice dish, or I like to spend time with family. But what is the purpose for all that? Because we all want happiness. So, but how to attain happiness that is eternal? Like, for example, what you all have told me about your idea of happiness, it's a thrill, actually. It's not even happiness, right? Thrill means it just comes for some moments and it goes. For example, nice food. Supposing I love gulab jamun, like, or I like ice cream. How much can I eat? One gulab jamun, 2, 3, 4 max, 5 max. Okay, somebody comes and gives me a sixth one. I said, no. Am I going to find more happiness in that sixth gulab jamun? No, it's over. Ho gaya. Yes. And in anything that we think that we expect, we, like for somebody said, fulfillment of our expectations. Yes. Let's say one of your expectations that you get so many marks in such and such subject. You got the marks. Do you think that happiness is everlasting, that can make you just go on with life for the rest of your life? No, in fact, that happiness increases your expectations further in your next test, so much so that sometimes some of the students, they push themselves so much, they pressurize themselves so much that I have to get good marks, that I am worth my name only if I get marks, if not I am not worth it. There are many students. I mean, few years ago, there are some medicos from Osmania Medical College who have even committed suicide because they didn't get right marks. So our definition of happiness, it's different from the happiness of a thrill. Yeah, happiness is something that lasts, that keeps you happy always. Okay, so how many of us want to be happy always?
Everyone.
Everyone, yes. But is it possible? Have you ever seen a person who is always happy?
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
Yeah, it's a real thing. Real thing means REEL. It's only on the movies screen, person who is happy always. Because the reality of life is something else. So what is that reality of life? Let us see. Okay. So as I said, this is what is every human being comes to a crossroads in life where a person exercises his free will to inquire, to make inquiries. If you inquire, then you have an opportunity to be promoted to a higher state of life. No, I feel that ignorance is bliss. Let me live in ignorance. Then there is every chance that a person falls down into lower species. I'll tell you why. This is just a very technical understanding. It is the nature that gives a person a body, right? But if a person is so addicted to eating, I only want to eat all my life. I just love to eat. I cannot live without eating. Eating is my obsession. Then the nature says, okay, you love to eat. Then you have a body that is suitable for eating so much. That is the body of an elephant. Why do you have to waste a human body for that? That's how the nature gives and a body of an elephant in the next life. That's simple, the simple law of nature. And it's said, if you're really very fond of sleeping, that I just love to sleep for hours and hours and hours, then again the nature responds to our desire. Oh, this is your desire to always sleep? Then take a body in which you can sleep for long hours. Take the body of a polar bear. Why do you want to waste a human life? This is how the nature responds. So that's how, but if you are utilizing the good human intelligence for inquiring into higher truths, then you're promoted into higher and higher states of life. So, getting a human birth, and that to being born with such good intelligence, it is a sign of, what you have desired for in the past and where you are in the present. Because this nature and universe responds to our desires and what we deserve. Two things decide eventually what a person is going to be, what one desires and what one deserves. So, yeah. Yeah, this is what the human beings can ask the question, why am I suffering? Okay, so let us get into the problem, analysis of the problem. So as we said, all of us love to be happy continuously, always. But unfortunately, it's just a momentary thing and it does not last. Yeah. Why? Because after a problem, after a period of happiness, there is a period of problem. And after a period of problem, there is a period of happiness. So does that mean happiness is just a gap between two problems? Is that the definition of happiness? So let us see then what is actually a problem. So problem has a definition. What is actually a problem? It should fit three criteria. Yeah. The criteria to call something a problem is nobody wants it. Yeah. Nobody can avoid it. And first thing is it is common to all. This is the actual definition of a problem. Now, you might say, we might face other problems, etc., etc. But what actually is the definition of a problem is, what did I say? It's first criterion. It's common
Common
to
for all.
common for all. Second is
No one needed.
nobody wants it. And third one,
One cannot avoid it.
nobody can avoid it. This is the definition of a true problem. Common to all, nobody wants it, and nobody can avoid it. Yeah. So that is when a problem is considered a real problem. Yeah, when it's fulfilling these two. Common to all, nobody wants it, and nobody can avoid it. Can you tell me some such problems that you know, which is common to all, which nobody wants, but which nobody can avoid?
Health
Tsunamis.
problems.
Yes, yes, yes. You all are giving right answers. Somebody said health. Health problems. Yes, very good. Health problems, common to all. Nobody wants it. Nobody can avoid it. Very good answer. Another one?
Death.
Excellent. Yes. Common to all.
Money problem.
Nobody can avoid. Money problem, it's not common to all. No? There are so many rich people around who have surplus of money. They don't even know what to do with that money. It does not fit the first question. First criterion. For some people, yes, money is the problem, but for many people, it is not a problem. They have sufficient surplus amount of money. Any other?
Fear.
Fear. Yes, you can avoid fear, right? You can build some positive thinking, or you can overcome fear. It is not that you cannot avoid it. You said two things. One is disease, one is death. Tell me, can you guess anything else?
Old age.
Wonderful. Who said that?
Madhushri.
Madhushri. Excellent. Yes. Old age. Common to all. Nobody wants it and nobody can avoid it. I mean, unless there is a premature death, which is unnatural, but this is what it is. It fits all the three criterion. Yes. Old age, disease, death. One more. There are 4 such problems that have been stated in the Vedas. You've actually guessed 3, right? One more. I think that will be a little difficult for you to guess. Okay, let me show you what they are. The first is, yeah, one of you said old age. It is true. Yeah. So this is what old age is about, right? Nobody likes to get old. And the whole fashion industry is booming on this fear, fear of wrinkles, fear of gray hair, fear of a tooth falling off, or a fear of, not having the perfect posture anymore. These are all, the whole cosmetic industry is just making millions and millions of dollars every year, just encashing this fear of every human being, fear of old age. Yeah. So, and also people capture sweet memories. Why? Because eventually they're going to become old.
Earthquakes, ma'am.
Earthquakes. Acha, yeah, they are the miseries. They're not the problems. We will discuss about that also in future. That is the natural calamities, right? But it is something. It cannot be defined as a problem because it's not that it is common to all, right? Like for example, I mean, I have never experienced an earthquake in my life. Being situated in Hyderabad, right? So it's not necessarily common to all, but it is a misery that can trouble one. That comes in a different heading. We will see that later. Yeah. So first thing is the old age. Yeah. Second thing is, as one of you said, it's health. We all want to remain healthy. Of course, this is a cashing point for all doctors that we are not always healthy. And so we need a doctor. But much against our wish, we encounter so many diseases. Like for example, right now the corona, how much of fear it is creating in everybody. Nobody wants to fall prey to corona, but every day the number of cases. Yeah. So the fourth one is birth. Yeah. The 3 of the things which you have already guessed are old age, disease, and death. And one more problem is birth. So why is birth a problem? We always celebrate, right? Somebody is born in the house. We celebrate happy birthday to you. We say it's happy birthday, but how much of misery the baby has gone through by being in the womb of the mother? I'll give you a small example. When we are in, let's say, we have got into a city bus, not city bus, a rural bus on a hot summer, which is jam packed, no place to even stand. Everybody is just falling on each other and we're sweating and it is midsummer. How do you feel in such a bus? You just want,
Irritated, ma'am.
yeah, irritated. You want to just get out of this bus. So imagine a baby, it's like lying upside down in the sack and with all the amniotic fluid, and it's passing stool and urine in the same thing, in the same amniotic sac, and it's drinking the same thing. And, especially pregnant mothers, if they start eating spicy and pungent food, it irritates the skin of the child so much. But poor thing, they can't say anything, they can't express it. So while the baby is in the womb in the 9 months, it's not that the baby is having a gala time. It's just going through a lot of suffering. So birth is, that's why it's declared as one of the 4 problems of human life. Janma mrityu jara vyadi dukkha doshanu darshanam. This is given in Bhagavad Gita. Yeah, one who can perceive birth, death, old age, and disease as real problems is in knowledge. This is what is stated in the Gita, 13th chapter. These four are the real problems. Why are they real problems? Because of these three criterion. They are common to all. Nobody wants it and nobody can avoid it. Yes. And that's not it. It's not yet over. Yeah. It's not yet over because other than these four problems, there are also threefold miseries of human life. So you might be thinking, what is ma'am talking about? She said we will discuss about happiness and she's telling about four problems and now three more miseries. So right now we're just critically dissecting the problem dissection anta ayipayaka, then we will come to the solution. Okay, so this is just a journey and I request everybody who is present right now, please stay until the end. Don't leave in between because half knowledge is dangerous. Okay, so it's a word of caution. So also, so if we analyze our lives, we are tormented with three miseries. These miseries are called what? Kleshas. And there are three types of miseries. What are these three miseries? You can write down. First is adhyatmika. Yeah. Second is adhibhautika. And third is adhidaivika. Since all of us are Telugu, manaki Sanskrit language anedi, it's much easier to catch. So first is adhyatmika. Second is adhibhautika. Third is adhidaivika. These are the three miseries of human life. Actually, in fact, we see in the hand of goddess Durga, the Trishul, right? The Trishulam. Trishul means, the three pinpointed sharp things. They actually represent these three kleshas. So with these three kleshas, the goddess Durga, she pins down every human beings to the material world. The Trishul represents these three kleshas actually. So what is this adhyatmika klesh? Adhyatmika ante miseries born due to one's own body and mind. That is adhyatmika. One's own body and one's own mind. One's own body means diseases. Yeah, and in fact, most of the diseases are psychosomatic in origin. It is said the diseases that are manifesting at the level of the body, they have their roots in the psyche of the human being. Yeah, so actually, in fact, mental health and physical health go hand in hand together, most of the cases. So miseries born due to body and mind. So as I said, at the level of body, it is the disease, the various diseases, and that of mind includes depression. Yeah, in fact, can you imagine the statistics in the last 25 years? The teen suicide rate has become tripled. Last 25 years low. So, we have big statistics of our technological advancement. Can you look at the statistics of the number of suicides that are committed? Teenage suicides have become into 3. This is the statistics. And what is the cause? Cause is academic pressure. When they inquired, lack of family support and stress. Stress is a major cause. Like recently, I think 2 years back, I don't know if you all belong to the same group. In Telangana, the inter results lo some edo tappidan jarigindi, because of which I think 25 students or more, they committed suicide. Then there was actually a re-evaluation and they found that the paper correction was wrong and they gave out the proper results. But by the time they got the real results, they've already died. They've already committed suicide. It's such a sad thing. That means, is it what they have understood about the value of life? Is it what we are understanding about the goal of life, the purpose of human life? See, this is the education that is needed to be given in schools. If the school is just pushing us to, make us rankers or toppers, this is what is the side effects of it. For example, in our pharmacology second year, when you learn, every drug has its side effect. Yeah, so So if you push a person too much, I mean, this is what if your educational institutions have just become rank making machines, not imparting in them the values of life, not giving them the understanding the purpose of human life and what it is supposed to be meant for, then the result is that this is how the students are going to react to failures. They can't even handle one single failure in that way. How can they face the battles of life? There is one topper in IIT, an Indian, who actually, I mean, I'm sure most of you have heard about him. He went to USA and he became the CEO of a company, made big money, and he built a big building, big house, big bungalow. He has wife and children, and suddenly, because of some reason, he lost his job and he lost everything. And overnight, like, he was on roads. He could not afford anything. He just came down to a very low status of living. So he couldn't handle that failure, so much so that not just himself, he actually murdered the whole family and he killed himself, committed a suicide. So this was the news. So such an academic topper, he couldn't handle a small failure in life. So is this what the education is all about? Is this what the education has taught us? And I'll tell you one more reality. There is one famous institution, top premier institution of India. I'm not going to name it. Okay. This institution they have been facing so many suicides in their college. So all these faculties and everybody came together and they have had a big discussion, panel discussion. So many suicides are happening, we should stop. And do you know what was the outcome of the discussion? What is the solution they came up with? They removed all the fans in the hostel rooms to avoid suicides of the students. Can you imagine this is the solution they came up with? If the student wants to commit suicide, he can put his finger in the electric shock. They will come up with innovative ways. For example, when I was doing my medicine in Osmania, so there was a student who committed suicide by injecting an air bubble into his veins. Very innovative way, right, of committing suicide. So if a person is driven to commit suicide, is this the way you prevent it? By removing the fans? But this is what this top premier institution has come up with as a solution. The unfortunate situation of Indian education today. So yeah, this is the grave reality of today's world. And that's what I'm talking about with statistics. So this is Adhyatmika Klesh. So the education is actually meant to empower a student with values and character and giving them the purpose and direction in life. And of course, specializations will evolve eventually. If you know that the Indian syllabus, yes, I can give you some references from the name of the author also. You can refer the books of Dharampal. He has actually systematically compiled what was the syllabus of Indian schools before the British era. Yeah, right now, what all we are actually going through is the British system of education. But originally, pre-independence, I mean, in a British colonization, Indians had an education system that is really superior. It was in such a way that teachers were never paid. Teachers were self-inspired, motivated people who had this desire to just impart knowledge to students. That's it. And they were full in knowledge and they used to just give knowledge, and the students used to come and receive the knowledge from their teacher and just offer Guru Dakshina out of their gratitude. This was a process of education exchange. And you know what was the syllabus that is common to all the schools? That time it was called Gurukulas. To all the Gurukulas across India, there were 4 subjects that were common. Do you know what were those 4 subjects? Can anybody guess? Be it, South India or North India or the eastern part of India or western part of India, there are 4 books that are common to the entire India.
Maths.
Maths. Okay. No, it's not maths.
Vedic knowledge.
I said 4 books. Yeah, it's Vedic knowledge, but 4 books.
Bhagavad Gita.
Gita was one.
Ramayanam.
Yes.
Mahabharat.
Yes.
Mahabharat.
Yes.
Bhagavat.
Exactly. These are the 4 books. Ramayana, Mahabharat, Gita and Bhagavad. These are the 4 books that are common to entire India. It's a common syllabus. Why was this the common syllabus? And this is the central part of the syllabus. Because in the core Indian education, development of character was the central theme and purpose of education. The specialization only came about as an auxiliary, as a branch out of the real education. Like, for example, somebody said maths. Yes, first initially be thoroughly understand these concepts of Ramayana, Mahabharata, Gita, and like, for example, Ramayana teaches a person how to live. Yes, Ramayana teaches about how to live. Mahabharata teaches how to lead. Bhagavatam teaches about how to love. You know, Gita is like the user manual for this human body. Yes. So this is the center, the central theme and essence of education right from childhood. And the branching is the specializations like the Ganita Shastra, Rasayana Shastra, or you know, whatever it is you want to specialize in, languages or arts, that came later based on your interest in which direction you want to go. So that is real education. But you know, unfortunately, the British came, and one thing they wanted to really attack. There's this person called Macaulay. Yeah, he has traveled all over India extensively, and he gave a report to the British. He said that this education system and its spiritual heritage is the backbone of India, and if we can actually succeed in breaking its backbone, by making them feel low about their own spiritual culture and heritage, then we can easily conquer them. This is his report, Macaulay's report. I can send you that report to you. That short clip. So this was his report, and this was the Britishers' strategy to actually win over India. So that's how the whole thing happened. And yeah, so no wonder these days, what is modern education meant for? It is, what is it directing a person towards? Economic development. Yeah, make lots of money, have lots of fun. This is the only 2 purposes of the modern day education, especially technical subject, especially, at least, as doctors, it's a science subject, so it has a little, flavor of compassion to it. Definitely. I mean, it should be there. It should not be a money making business, because that's why they call doctors, means it's the most noble profession, because it's about healing a person's pain. A very noble profession. But the other side of it is people also make business out of it. So okay, that's a different thing, but so that's what is modern education unfortunately heading towards, by missing the central theme and purpose of education. And the results we are seeing in so many statistics. Okay, so but that is about adhyatmika klesha, which is a misery born out of one's own body and mind. Then adhi bhautika klesh. What is adhi bhautika? This is miseries caused due to other living entities. So other living entities ante, like for one example, one solid example is our corona. Yeah, it's some other living entity, but how much of misery it is causing, like pests, like snakes or dogs. Sometimes when dogs bite, of course, not the pet dogs, or some other person. Yeah, I remember, if you ask a random person, "Are you happy?" And they say, "Yeah, I'm happy. I'm fine." Even in Adite, superficially, they'll say, "Yes, I'm happy. How are you? Everything is going on fine. I'm feeling great." Anta baunar, anta baunar. This is what generally is a conversation, right? But you just sit with them and talk for 5 to 10 minutes and ask the same, maybe you sit there with them at a dinner table or at a lunch table, have a nice open heart to heart talk. So again, you ask them after 5 minutes, so everything is nice. Then they will say, yeah, everything is nice, but start just there. But that person, that person is causing me a lot of problem. This person, he is not at all behaving as per my expectations. Or that lady, especially if you ask somebody who's married, number one target, my mother-in-law, it starts with that. Yeah. Everything is nice, but if there is nobody, at least it should be the neighbor's dog that is barking at the wrong time. There will be something or the other which is actually causing a big block in your desire for happiness. So that's a reality. So that is adhibhautika klesh. That is miseries that are caused because of other living entities. Then adhidaivik. What is adhidaivik? Adhidaivik means miseries that are caused due to natural disasters. Like someone was saying earthquake. Yeah, the earthquakes, the tsunamis, yeah, the cyclones, the volcanic eruptions, droughts. So these are the, miseries caused because of the natural disasters. So these are the three miseries. So tell me, what are the three miseries? What are the three miseries?
ఆధ్యాత్మిక అధిభౌతిక
Adhidaivika.
అధిభౌతిక
Yeah, these are the three miseries.
అధిదైవిక.
Yes. Yeah. So let us see what are the scientific advancements that we have made to counter these problems in life. Yeah. Of course, as I said, for old age, we tried a lot of facial surgeries. It's called a facelift, or, dye, or so many other so many other means to cover the old age. But how much ever you're trying to cover, it's just coming. Yeah, the body is failing. There is a body of science called geriatrics. Does anybody know what is geriatrics?
About old age, ma'am.
Exactly. The study of old age is called geriatrics, geriatric medicine. So this geriatrics, it's all, the whole research is about how to, how the cell is degrading, how the cell is dying over a period of time. And is there any process to stop the cell from dying? And after all the researchers and the latest inventions and all, the conclusion is that you cannot stop the cell from dying, from getting old. So what happens to the cell happens to the body, right? Yeah. Yeah. So despite our health advancement in medical science, of course, there's not much that we can do to actually stop death. So do you know who this person is? Famous person? It's written there, no?
Muhammad wrestler.
He is the famous Indian boxer, Muhammad Ali. Sorry, he's not from India, he's from America. He's an American boxer champion. His name is Muhammad Ali. And he was like a continuous world champion for years and years. Yeah. But then he was attacked by Parkinson's disease. So one day he could not hold an Olympics torch. So he was such a nice person actually at heart that, he expressed that in one of his interviews, that what happened to that Muhammad Ali, who was the continuous, serial champion of heavyweight boxing. He said, now I cannot even lift my coffee cup. He became very humbled. Time humbles everybody. Yeah. Okay, so let's go quickly because we're running out of time. It's already 5:15. So basically, there's a nice saying that one of the scientists said the human beings have learned how to fly like birds in the sky and to swim like a fish underwater in a submarine. But unfortunate thing is they have forgotten how to walk like human beings. It is more and more relevant and prevalent in the current situation of COVID. Yeah. Now the greatest luxury is actually to go out of the house and take a walk. Nobody is able to even do that. Everybody is just locked in the house. Is this all the advancement is taking us towards? This is a very serious question each and every one of us have to answer for ourselves. This is a deep inventory that we need to take. Where are we heading towards? We are a part of this world. Yeah. And do we have any responsibility towards ourselves and to this world? Can we take up that responsibility to make this world a better place for ourselves and for the future generations? Can we really take that responsibilities? So to actually take that responsibility, one should begin to understand where the problem is starting. See, right now, if you see the whole pandemic, you get a very superficial idea of what the reason is. But deep-rooted reason for this problem is nothing but the human being's mismanagement. As such, if everybody obeys the laws of God and is working in harmony with the laws of God, the calamities do not attack. There will not be calamities. Even the nature responds in a way that is favorable to give human beings. Nature is like a mother. Just like mother always wants to give the best to the child, the nature loves to give the best to the residents of earth. But when we play foul, and try to unnecessarily exploit the nature by causing a lot of deforestation and torturing animals, like last week I have told about the Einstein's pain wave theory. One of the causes of earthquakes, if you see, was because of massive slaughter of animals. And all the pain of the animals reaches the core of the earth as pain waves, and that causes tremors leading to earthquakes. So it's because of humans' greed. Why the human beings become greed and they start exploiting the nature? The root cause is because they have not understood what is the purpose of life. That is the reason why this education is most important. And this should be the central theme of every education. And after understanding this core purpose of education, you do any specialization. Each of your specialization will be a feather in the hat. That means it will help the humanity to develop to a better level of living. Without understanding the purpose of human life, what all advancement you are trying to contribute to this world, it's only going to push people more into more darkness. I know there is in the 1900s, there was a scientist who claimed that he can actually within he gave a time period also. Within so many years, I'm going to come up with a way by which I can bring back the dead to life. So actually, there is our famous Walt Disney. He even shelled out millions to that person and he told, preserve my body. And when your research study is successful, bring me back to life. And he gave many post-dated checks also. This is the foolishness of the scientists. That is why for knowledge, consult Vedas. The Vedas are telling very clearly. It is also said as sure as death. Whenever a person takes birth, that person also dies. So nobody can avoid it. Nobody can avoid death. But there are scientists who started claiming that yes, we can bring back the dead to life and making money out of it. So it's the unfortunate nature of not being in knowledge. Yeah, so this is what the only problem is. Yeah, now the human being is not able to walk on the land like a human being, either because of pollution or because of the fear of corona. Yeah, this is a mismanagement, the exploitation of human nature. I will tell you, there was a big, a very long study that has been performed about, the glaciers melting, the imminent dangers that are going to come because of it. So when they understood what is the root cause of all this problem, It's because of deforestation. You know, which is the biggest forest in this whole earth? We learned in our geography.
Amazon forest, ma'am.
Exactly, Amazon forest. Now, do you know more than 50% of Amazon forest is no longer existing? And do you know why it is not existing?
Deforestation, ma'am.
Why is the deforestation taking place?
For soybean cultivation, grazing the cattle.
Exactly. Who said that?
Madhushri, ma'am.
Adishri. Very nice. You're very well informed. Very good. That's how you should be. Yes, you know, because of animals are given, are sent free into the, why they're cultivating so much of animals, first of all? Because meat is one of the topmost industry of US. They maintain slaughterhouses for to take, you know, to kill all these animals in a very technical way, and they have so many you know, very I would say sophisticated machineries to kill you know, big animals, you know, really huge animals. They just send these animals to graze in this open forests, and that's how the forests are perishing. And because of the perishing of the forests, the water cycle and the rain cycle, all this is thoroughly disturbed, because deforestation is causing great disturbance in the water cycle. So because of which there is an artificial water shortage that has been announced, and people are told that, no, it is said Chennai has no, in Chennai, the entire water table that is below the earth, it has completely dried up. There is no more drinking water in Chennai. It has to borrow from the neighboring states and districts. So all these are artificial and man-made. Man's greed is resulting in all this. Okay. So this is about how the advancements, and as I said, you know, the root cause of all these problems that we are seeing around us in this world is because of human greed. Human greed that is stemming out of ignorance. That is why today our prayer, we started our session with a prayer to the spiritual master to please give me the torchlight of knowledge and help me to see things as they are. So unless a person awakens from ignorance into knowledge, a person cannot be a part of the solution. A person continues to be a part of the problem. Okay. So this is just a brief look into what the scientific solutions are to the old age, white hair, facelifts and all this. Yeah, we'll quickly go through this. So basically what the scientific world is giving is just a patchwork solution, but it is not the real solution. Yeah, because it is not, nobody, there is no scientific advancement that can cure all these four. The problems of birth, it cannot cure. The problems of disease, not completely. Yeah. Old age, certainly not. Death is absolutely not. These four things, no amount of scientific advancement can actually provide. Yeah, we'll go faster. Yeah, here in this, so whatever luxuries and comforts that we are trying to provide, yeah, or through our discoveries, scientific discoveries, is just like a fish. It is taken out of water, yeah, and let's say that fish is given all the amenities, luxuries, like, you know, give it a pizza or burger, or, you know, and the best of money and fancy items and everything, music to hear. Do you think the fish will enjoy?
No, ma'am.
No. How much ever you give it, the fish does not. Why the fish cannot enjoy?
Primary need is not fulfilled.
Yeah, primary need. What is its existence? Yeah, its existence is in the water. You take the fish out of water, and how much ever amenities you give, it cannot be happy. Similarly, when a human being is brought out of his or her natural condition and given n number of luxuries, that person is never satisfied. One of you actually told the definition of happiness is satisfaction. Yes. So how do you get such satisfaction? We will see. Yeah. So there's a difference between wise and the foolish. Wise always look for long-term solutions, whereas the foolish look for a short-term happiness. They get carried away by thrills of the present without understanding what are the repercussions of the future. They don't care about future. They say, kal ho na ho nahi. Kal ko kisne dekha? Who has seen the future? Live life king size right now. All these big captions they have. These are the words of foolish. But a wise person understands that life means live life responsibly, in alignment with the laws of God. In that way, I will be happy and I will also make this world a better place. And I can take the responsibility of not just myself and my family, but for this whole world and contribute something meaningful. Yes. So how do they do that? By understanding what are the laws of God and obeying them. Yeah. So those who are envious, they live an irregulated life and finally go to hell. Okay, fine. Yeah, there's a difference between foolish and yeah. So why this propensity comes? Because we want to just take control over things without acknowledging God, the presence of God, who is a real proprietor. That is why we started our session by understanding who is the mastermind behind the mysterious universe. So when this universe is created and it is belonging to him, recently, because of I think there is a very famous WhatsApp message which was viral, which I think there's a Chinese person or a Japanese person, I don't remember. He, for supply of 2 days of oxygen, he was given a big bill. Then at that time, he began to ask and he started feeling grateful. For 2 days of oxygen, I'm paying you so much of bill. But from ever since I'm born, I'm taking so much oxygen from my environment. How much do I owe to God for such a surplus and unlimited supply of oxygen? So the moment you actually start connecting to the environment, that's when your whole consciousness expands. So most of you were talking about, self-confidence and many others, positive thinking, etc. See, these are the things which come as offshoots of making these connections, increasing and expanding your consciousness. If not, how much ever I can give you techniques of positive thinking or self-confidence, they're very superficial. Okay, yes. Yeah. Yeah, this is a journey of life where we see that. Yeah, just like, a goat, it does not understand that it is its next turn. Next is my turn. Does not understand, it continues grazing the tasty grass. A human being not knowing that, yes, next, even I am going to die in the near future. But he continues. Yeah. So that does not mean to make a person depressed by understanding about death, but it means to be realistic. Yeah. It's Vedas does not make a person falsely optimistic or unrealistic. Vedas are meant to give the reality and truth about life, and not just reality and truth, but also the hope. Yeah. So so aligning, so till now we understood what the problem is. It's quite gripping, right? We have understood what is the situation, what are the the four real problems of life, what are the threefold miseries which are just causing so much of suffering to the human race, and the greed and exploitation and all these things, how much they're causing so much of imbalance in our existence. So are there any solutions to these problems? We have seen some solutions that have come from the scientific world, but the solutions are not providing permanent solution. Everything is a temporary short gap solution. So now let's turn to Vedic studies, to the Vedas. Are Vedas providing any solution to these problems? Let's see. Yeah, these are the questions. So what are the two questions that we identified? The question number one is, why am I suffering? Second is, what is the goal of life? Let's see what do the Vedas speak about it. So, so the very foundational concept of Gita, it speaks about what is actually your real identity. Yeah, this is the foundational concept to understand the root cause of all problems, and not just understand the root cause, but also get a solution. So Arjuna was bewildered in a battlefield that he does not want to fight his own kinsmen. So Lord Krishna, taking the role of the spiritual teacher, he gave his very first teaching that you're not this material body, but you're the imperishable soul. This is the foundational teaching of Gita. So the details of this, we will do it in the next class. Who am I? Am I this body or am I the soul? Yeah. This we will do it next week, next session. So in Gita, at many places, Krishna, especially in the second chapter of the Gita, so Krishna explains about the nature of the soul. So just like you see in this picture, there is, the birth of the body, the body, child to youth to boyhood, child to boyhood to youth to old age, and then again to death. So the body is changing, but what is remaining constant? So there is a verse in Bhagavad Gita which says that just as you're changing your dress, the soul is changing different bodies. That now I wore a dress, I remove and I wear another dress. Similarly, the soul is wearing the dress of, let's say, the body that you're looking at in the mirror. So what happens after death? The body, that dress is removed and you're given another dress called another body. Yeah. And and also Krishna gives a verdict in the Gita that this material world where you are right now, yeah, it is branded as Dukhalayam and Ashashvatam. Yeah, Mamupetya Punarjanma Dukhalayam Ashashvatam Napnuvanti Mahatmana Samsiddhim Param Gatim. That is the place that you're residing. Like, for example, who knows the best about a car? The manufacturer. Similarly, who knows the best about this universe? The manufacturer of this universe, the material universe. And what is this material universe? Krishna gave a verdict. It is Dukhalayam and Ashashvatam. Dukhalayam means, for example, in Bhojanalay, what do you get? Bhojan. Pustakalay, what you get? Pustak. In Dukhalayam, what is it that you get? Dukha. And this world is termed as Dukhalayam and Ashashvatam. Ashashvatam means it is temporary. He's telling Arjuna, this is the place that you're living in. It is Dukhalayam and Ashashvatam. So obviously, when it is Dukhalayam, the four dukkhas, the fourfold, the four real problems and the threefold miseries are always existent. They cannot be overcome. So does it mean we are doomed? No. Vedas always give us a hope. But Krishna says, after attaining me, the great souls who are yogis in devotion never return to this temporary world, which is full of miseries, because they have attained the highest perfection. So there is a world beyond this material world, which is called a spiritual world. And once a person reaches that realm is free of all these miseries. For example, you say Vaikuntha. Kuntha means anxieties. Vaikuntha means the place where there are absolutely no anxieties. That is the definition of the place called Vaikuntha. And this is called by different names in different scriptures. It's called the kingdom of God in Christianity. It's also called Jannat in our Quran. Yeah. So different sacred books term them differently. But they're all speaking about one place, which is called spiritual world. Spiritual world is again different from heavenly planets. Okay, I'll give about the description some other time. So Krishna is giving the hope that this place is Dukhalayam and Ashashvatam because it is built for that purpose. But when you cross over and attain me, you will come to a place which is called the spiritual world, which is free of all these miseries and anxieties. Yeah, so there is a big description of this. We will see next time. Yeah. So what we are, why we have just discussed about our real identity, which is as a soul and not the body. I will tell you why. Because currently we're all living in a culture called cage polishing culture. What is cage polishing culture? I will tell. So once upon a time, a lady, she was given a beautiful bird, parrot, which she kept in a beautiful golden cage. And she was so fascinated about the cage that she was just polishing the cage day in and day out. Polishing, 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 making it sparkle every day because it was so beautiful and it wanted the cage to shine like brilliantly. But in the process of polishing that cage, she forgot about the bird that is inside. What was the result? The bird is becoming thin, emaciated, and it started dying. Yeah, so that is what actually we are all doing by not identifying ourselves with the soul, which is the bird inside, and simply polishing this cage that we are entrapped in. We are just spending our life. And actually, if you see, that is the root cause of our dissatisfaction in life and unhappiness. The root cause of all unhappiness and dissatisfaction is because of our identification with this body. That is why this is exactly the example of fish out of water. You bring the fish out of water and give it all luxuries, it's never satiated. Take the fish back into water, it's happy. So is the soul. As long as it is encaged in this material body and given any number of comforts, it's not going to receive that eternal, everlasting happiness. It's only going to be, gain some thrills, but eventually become dissatisfied. So that's the foundational concept, polishing the cage. Yeah, this is how educated were Indians. And this is this is not something that I'm telling you today. I'm sure everyone who is present here, we all know this understanding. Like it actually runs in our families, right? Like for example, our grandparents say, నాకు కొంచెం ఆత్మశాంతి కల్పించు. This it comes, if something bad happens, అరే my karma. These technical words are so much ingrained in our own tradition because everybody was in knowledge earlier. So because, as I said, it's a part of Indian tradition. Educated Indians were, but they were diverted from putting the faith in Vedas, as I said, because of what happened in the pre-British colonization time. So for example, okay, now let us see how some certain predictions of Vedas and how they are actually seen as true. That Gautam Buddha is going to appear in the 563 BC has been predicted in Bhagavatam 1st canto 3rd chapter. The verse number is also given. That Chanakya Pandit is going to appear in 370 BC. This is also has been given in Bhagavatam. When is this Bhagavatam compiled? Written in the book form 5,000 years ago. 5,000 years ago, they gave the prediction of what happened just 300 years ago. This is the authenticity of Vedic literature. I will give you one more small example. Initially, in geography, we all learned, right? Initially, the earth was thought to be a flat surface. That is, if you go to the end of earth, you'll fall down into some vacuum, or you'll fall down into an endless space, because earth was thought to be a flat surface. But no, later on, discoveries happened, satellite pictures and all, they found out that earth is actually spherical. But if you see, the earth is termed as bhugol. Bhugolam, Telugu word bhugolam. Gol means what? It's round. And earth was always called bhugol in the Vedas. How did they come to know? Who went into the space and who saw and who wrote it down? So that's the verdict of Vedas. Yeah. Also the descent of Emperor Ashoka in 304 BC. That is also given in the Vedas, Bhagavatam. of course, of Jesus Christ. It's given in Bhavishya Puran. Of Prophet Muhammad, his descent is also given in Bhavishya Puran, 570 AD, along with dates. These all these have given. And the advent of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has been predicted in the Mahabharata. Yeah, in 1486. So as I said last time, I think I also told you about the Cunningham's Book of Anatomy. It speaks about the fetus in different stages, and third canto of Bhagavatam very clearly gives all this information. Yeah, that plants have life has been discovered by Jagdish Chandra Bose. But Vedic literature is full of understanding that plants do have life. In fact, if you get into Ayurveda, they worship plants. In fact, they take the permission from plants before plucking their leaves. That is how the Ayurveda people deal with plants, because they very much know that they have life. Embryology, I told you. And also cow dung and cow products. Cow dung was written in the Vedas as supposed to be a very pure product. And also, for example, the animal bone is considered to be very impure, right? But the conch and shankham, that is written to be pure. That is why in the temples you use a conch to blow, and it's always inside the temple room. Okay. Yeah, so they give axiomatic truths. In science, we actually believe in so many axioms. Like, what is root of -1? It is an imaginary number. Yeah, so that's how we define it, and we accept it as reality and we follow it. But why we have to reject Vedas then? Accept them as axiomatic truths. Yes. So last week we spoke about how do we identify whether the Vedic knowledge that we are receiving is authentic or not. That's the next question. So now we have understood how Vedas are giving us the solution to our problems. Fine. Then where do we find the authentic Vedas? That's the next question. So just like we have bona fide institutions which give knowledge, there are bona fide sampradayas which actually give the Vedic knowledge in proper disciplic succession. And what are those 4 sampradayas? They are Shri Sampradaya, Madhva Sampradaya, Rudra Sampradaya, and Kumara Sampradaya. So Shri Sampradaya is coming from Goddess Lakshmi. Madhva Sampradaya is coming from Lord Brahma. Yeah. Rudra Sampradaya is coming from Lord Shiva, and Kumara Sampradaya is coming from the Brahma Kumaras. So these are the 4 authentic chains of disciplic succession through which the Vedic knowledge has been transmitted. Lord Krishna has given the Vedic knowledge through these 4 channels: Lakshmi Devi, Brahmaji, Lord Shiva, and the 4 Kumaras. That is why the Sampradayas are named after them. And actually, we know about these Sampradayas even in our around us. Like Shri Sampradaya is our Jiyar Swami, whom we hear about so often. For example, Tirupati, if you go and see the pujaris who are worshipping the Lord, they put the tilak, right? Of in between, it's red in color. That is Shri Sampradaya. So it's an authentic Sampradaya that is coming from Goddess Lakshmi. And the prominent acharyas is Ramanujacharya. Yeah, Sripad Ramanujacharya has, in fact, I will tell you the glory of Sripad Ramanujacharya. When he has come to Tirupati the first time, yeah, there are 7 hills in Tirupati, right? Mirandaru, your college is very close. When he came to Tirupati, he said that how could I ever step on the sacred hills of Tirupati? Because they are representatives of Anantasesha. And he did not walk on the hills. He walked to the top to take the darshan on his knees. He did not put his foot on the hills of Tirupati. Now that was his, staunch devotion. That was the greatness of such a great Acharya, Sripad Ramanujacharya, who is coming in Shri Sampradaya. Then, and Madhva Sampradaya is, Shripad Madhvacharya. If you see the Udupi temple, Udupi Krishna temple, so that is, it's run by the Udupi Mutt. The prominent Acharya there is Madhvacharya. And Rudra Sampradaya is prominent Acharya is Vishnu Swami. And the 4 Kumaras, the prominent Acharya is Nimbarka Swami. So whatever I am trying to teach you or I am connected to is the Madhva Sampradaya. And whatever I am trying to share with you is are the teachings of Swami Prabhupada, who is coming 32nd in the line of disciplic succession of the Madhva Sampradaya. So whatever I am teaching you, it's not manufacture of my own mental speculation. It is authentic, and it is coming in the disciplic succession from the Madhva Sampradaya, and through the books that are written by Swami Prabhupada, whom I said is a 32nd representative of this Sampradaya. So that's all for today. This is next week. So next week is the most thrilling subject, Science of the Soul. So, okay. So before we go for that, if you have any questions, you can ask me, or we will go into revision. Yes? Any questions from today's session? Okay, so we will just quickly get into the revision. What are the 4 similarities between human beings and animals?
Sleeping, eating, mating, and things.
Yeah. Can anybody tell me the Sanskrit words for these?
Ahara, Nidra, Maituna, Baya.
Excellent. Yes, wonderful. So what is it that makes a human being superior to animals?
Thinking,
What kind of thinking?
higher intelligence,
Higher intelligence. What kind of higher intelligence?
what is beyond life and death.
Yeah, ability to inquire about higher truths. That is what makes a human being superior to animals. And then we understood what are the 4 real, okay, how do you qualify a problem as a real problem? What is the criteria?
It's common to all. Nobody wants it.
Yes.
Nobody can avoid it.
Excellent.
Nobody avoid.
Yes. Common to all, nobody wants it, nobody can avoid it. So what are the 4 problems that fit into this criterion?
Birth,
Old age, health, death, birth.
Yes. Or the Sanskrit words for these?
Adhyatmika, adhibhautika, adhidevika.
Are we kleshas? Now we are talking about the birth, death, old age, disease. What are the Sanskrit
Janma,
words?
Mrityu, Jara.
Janma, Mrityu, Jara. What is disease called in Sanskrit? Same as Telugu.
Rogam.
Vyadhi. It's called Vyadhi. Yeah, Vyadhi. Yeah, Janma, Mrityu, Jara, Vyadhi. So what are the 3 kleshas?
Adhyatmika, adhibhautika, adhidevika.
Yeah. So what is the Adhyatmika klesh?
Diseases,
To mind and body.
Miseries born out of body and mind. Adi Bhautika?
Miseries due to other living creatures.
Example,
Natural living.
for example.
Snake bite.
Snake bites, green snake that we have seen. Okay. And what is Adi Bhautika? I'm sorry, Adi Daivika?
Miseries due to natural disasters.
Natural
Natural calamities.
disasters.
Like, for example,
Earthquakes,
Tsunami, cyclones.
yes. So, could scientific developments give a cure to all these problems?
No, ma'am.
Yes. What they
Stem-
have given, temporary stopgap solutions were provided. So, as a solution to this, what is stated in the Gita? There are two concepts that are stated in the Bhagavad Gita. What are the two concepts?
What is the goal of life? Why are we suffering?
Yes. Those two are questions. So, what are the answers to it? There are two concepts that we learned. The fundamental teaching of Gita. So, we're still in the problem now. We all understood what the problem is. You have dissected it, you have understood it. Now, the solution part. So, what is stated in the Gita? What did Krishna teach Arjuna as a route of, to alleviate his suffering? The very first teaching of Gita. What is it? I showed a nice picture also, na? What's it? Anybody remembers?
To attain him.
To attain him. Excellent. You came straight to the solution. Yeah. Before that, Krishna declared this world as
Dukkhalayam.
Dukhalayam and
Ashasvatam.
Sorry.
yeah, Dukhalayam and Ashashvatam. He declared this world, and to attain him and to reach the eternal spiritual world is actually the solution, because the problems are but natural, because this is a place that is designed for these sufferings. And also Krishna gave one more interesting concept about one's identity. What is that identity?
One who knows that the four miseries of the life are the real problems, then he's in knowledge.
Yeah, he's in knowledge. And what did he tell about the identity of a person? Identity. From boyhood, from birth to boyhood to youth to old age, the body is changing, but what is remaining constant?
Soul.
Soul.
The soul. This is the fundamental teaching of Gita. And I also gave the example of cage and the bird. Cage represents?
The body.
Yes, cage represents the body, and the bird represents?
The soul.
Excellent. Yes. So this is just a beginning of the concept of soul and the body, the fundamental understanding. And next week, we're going to elaborately discuss about the science of soul. Does soul really exist? Is there any evidence to it? Is there any scientific proof to it? We're going to see all these in the interesting session next week. Thank you all very much for your attention and participation. We will meet next week, same time. Bye.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.